hey, everyone, get this training AI. It can be like a real headache, you know?
Oh, tell me about it.
It often involves these crazy complex systems, like
Yeah.
trying to teach a dog a new trick with a 50-page instruction manual.
It's true. Traditional methods can be, well, they can be quite intricate and computationally demanding.
Exactly. But that's why this research that you sent over is so exciting. It's all about a new method called direct preference optimization, or DPO for short. And it claims to make the whole process of training AI way simpler.
The core idea behind DPO is surprisingly elegant. It suggests that language models can actually act as their own internal reward systems.
Wait, hold on. So it's like the AI already has a sense of what's good without us needing to spoon-feed it rewards.
Precisely. Instead of building a separate system to judge the AI's performance and dole out rewards, DPO taps into the AI's own implicit understanding of quality.
That's pretty mind-blowing. But before we get too deep into DPO, let's take a step back. You sent over this paper from Stanford University, and it tackles the challenge of aligning large language models, or LLMs, with human preferences. What exactly does that mean in practice?
Well, imagine you're using an AI writing assistant. You want it to produce positive and encouraging content, right? Or maybe you're interacting with a chatbot and you need it to give helpful advice.
Right.
Aligning LLMs with human preferences means ensuring that the AI behaves in ways that we humans find, well, desirable and beneficial.
Okay, so it's all about making sure the AI is actually useful and aligned with our values. But traditionally, this has involved a pretty complicated process called reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF. Can you break that down for us?
Sure. RLHF typically involves three main stages.
Okay.
First, you fine-tune your pre-trained LLM on data that's specific to the task you want it to perform. Think of it like giving the AI a crash course in, say, writing movie reviews or summarizing Reddit posts.
Right, so it's like giving the AI some specialized training.
Exactly. Then comes the reward modeling phase. This is where it gets a bit tricky. You use the fine-tuned AI to generate pairs of responses for a given prompt, and then ask humans to judge which response is better.
So you're basically gathering feedback from humans to figure out what kind of responses they prefer.
Yes, and this human feedback is used to train a separate reward model, which learns to predict which responses are likely to be considered good by humans.
Okay, so it's like having a panel of judges scoring the AI's output.
Right.
But I'm already sensing that this is getting pretty complicated.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
And there's still one more step. In the RL fine-tuning phase, you use that learned reward model to further train the AI, guiding it to produce outputs that will get high scores from the reward model. This typically involves reinforcement learning algorithms, which are designed to maximize rewards while also keeping the AI's behavior somewhat aligned with its initial training.
So it's like a delicate balancing act. You're trying to make the AI better at following human preferences, but you don't want it to stray too far from its original capabilities or go completely rogue. But honestly, all this back and forth between reward models, training phases, and complex algorithms sounds like a computational nightmare.
It can be, and that's precisely where DPO comes in with its radical simplification. It completely bypasses the need for this entire reward modeling stage and the associated complexities of reinforcement learning.
Hold on, it completely eliminates a whole stage of the process. How is that even possible?
That's the beauty of DPO. Instead of building a separate reward model based on human feedback, DPO posits that the language model itself already contains an implicit representation of human preferences within its output probabilities.
Wait, so it's saying that the AI already has an innate sense of what humans would like.
Exactly. And DPO leverages this implicit understanding by directly optimizing the AI to produce outputs that align with these preferences. It's like realizing that you can communicate with your dog using subtle cues and body language rather than having to rely on a complex system of treats and punishments.
Okay, this is where things start to get really fascinating.
Yeah.
So how does DPO actually work? How does it tap into this implicit reward system within the AI?
It's a bit technical, but I'll try to explain it in a way that's easy to grasp.
Okay.
DPO essentially figures out how to express this implicit reward system in a mathematical form using the AI's own output probabilities as a proxy. Then it uses a clever optimization technique to directly adjust the AI's behavior based on this mathematical representation of the implicit reward.
So instead of training a separate reward model and then using it to guide the AI, DPO streamlines the process by directly optimizing the AI's behavior based on its own internal understanding of human preferences.
Exactly. It's a much more direct and efficient approach.
This is seriously blowing my mind. But you know me, I always need a concrete example to really wrap my head around things. Can you walk us through a specific example of how this DPO update actually works in practice?
Sure. Let's imagine we're training an AI to write positive movie reviews. Using DPO, we'd show the AI pairs of reviews for the same movie, one positive and one negative.
Okay.
The AI would then analyze these reviews and adjust its own internal parameters to increase the probability of generating outputs that resemble the positive review, while decreasing the probability of generating outputs that resemble the negative one.
So it's like the AI is learning from these examples and subtly nudging itself towards generating more positive reviews.
Precisely. And what's really neat is that DPO incorporates a weighting factor to prevent the AI from becoming too extreme in its pursuit of positive reviews. This ensures that the AI doesn't just start repeating the same overly positive phrase over and over again, but instead learns to generate a variety of positive and nuanced reviews.
That makes sense. We want the AI to be creative and authentic, not just a mindless parrot of positive phrases. But I'm curious, where did this whole DPO idea come from? Is there any theoretical foundation behind it?
Yes, there is. DPO is actually rooted in classic preference models, specifically the Bradley-Terry model, which has been used for things like ranking sports teams based on their wins and losses. DPO cleverly adapts this model to the world of language models, demonstrating how you can directly optimize the AI's behavior to align with these preference models.
So it's taking a classic statistical approach and applying it to this cutting-edge problem of AI alignment. I love it when seemingly disparate fields connect like that. But the big question is, does it actually work? I mean, it all sounds great in theory, but did they put this DPO thing to the test?
They did. The researchers conducted a series of experiments on 3 different tasks: controlling the sentiment in movie reviews, summarizing Reddit posts, and engaging in single-turn dialogue. They used standard datasets for these tasks, like IMDb for movie reviews, TL for Reddit summaries, and even a dataset from Anthropic called helpful and harmless for the dialogue task.
Okay, so they're covering a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
But did DPO deliver? Was it able to hold its own against those traditional RLHF methods?
You're not going to believe this, but the results were actually pretty remarkable.
Oh, I'm on the edge of my seat. Tell me everything.
Across all 3 tasks, DPO either matched or consistently outperformed those traditional RLHF methods we discussed earlier. And get this, it even beat PPO, that reinforcement learning algorithm, even when PPO had access to the so-called ground truth reward.
Hold on. So you're telling me the simpler method is actually better than the more complex ones. That's like a game changer. But how did they even measure better in these experiments? Were they bringing in humans to judge the AI's outputs?
That's a great question. For the summarization and dialogue tasks, they got a little creative and actually used GPT-4 as a stand-in for human evaluation. They fed GPT-4 pairs of summaries or dialogue responses and asked it to judge which one was better.
Interesting. But wouldn't it have been more reliable to use actual human feedback for these evaluations?
Yeah.
I mean, can we really trust another AI to accurately judge the quality of the output?
You raise a valid point, and the researchers were aware of this potential issue. To make sure they weren't just getting caught in some AI echo chamber, they conducted a separate human study to directly compare GPT-4's judgments with those of actual humans.
Okay, so they brought in the humans after all. What did they find? Did GPT-4 pass the test?
The results were pretty convincing. They found a very strong agreement between GPT-4's judgments and those of the human participants.
So GPT-4 has, good taste. But how strong was this agreement? Was it just, slightly better than random chance, or were they practically identical?
The agreement was significantly better than chance. In fact, the level of agreement between GPT-4 and humans was actually on par with, or even higher than, the agreement between different human judges.
Wow, that's really impressive. It makes you wonder if we're approaching a point where AI can understand and evaluate created output like summaries and dialogue just as well as humans can.
It's a fascinating question, and this research certainly suggests that we're moving in that direction. But let's not lose sight of the main takeaway here, that this validation study gives us more confidence that using GPT-4 as a proxy for human evaluation in these kinds of experiments is a valid approach.
That makes sense. It's like having a super efficient assistant who can help us speed up the evaluation process without sacrificing accuracy. It's a win-win. But let's get back to the DPO results. Did it have any other advantages besides just being simpler and more effective overall?
Absolutely. Remember how we talked about that sampling temperature setting, which basically controls the AI's creativity and randomness? Well, DPO showed much greater robustness to changes in this temperature.
So what does that mean for, someone actually using this AI?
It means that you can crank up the creativity dial without worrying about the AI, going completely off the rails. With traditional methods, the quality of the output often plummets when you increase the sampling temperature.
Right.
But DPO's performance remained much more stable across different temperatures. This means you can get more diverse and creative outputs from the AI without sacrificing quality.
So it's like having a creative partner who's always up for trying new things but never goes too far off the deep end.
Exactly. And on the summarization task, DPO actually managed to beat the best of N baseline.
Good.
This baseline involves generating a bunch of different summaries and then picking the best one according to the reward model. It's effective, but computationally expensive. DPO achieved similar or even better performance with way less effort.
That's huge. It's like finding the perfect outfit on the first try versus having to try on everything in your closet.
Okay, I'm really starting to see the appeal of this DPO approach. But as they say, every superhero has a weakness. Were there any limitations or areas where the researchers felt more work needed to be done?
There were a few caveats. First, they pointed out the need for more research on how well DPO generalizes to completely new types of input. For example, if you train it on Reddit posts, will it be just as good at summarizing news articles or scientific papers?
That's a fair point. It's like wondering if a chef who's amazing at Italian cuisine can also whip up a perfect sushi platter.
Exactly.
More research is definitely needed to see how well DPO adapts to different domains. Were there any other concerns?
Yes. Another concern is the potential for what's called reward over-optimization. This basically means that the AI might become so fixated on maximizing its implicit reward that it starts producing, really repetitive or overly simplistic outputs. So it's like that new band that gets super popular and starts churning out generic pop songs just to please the masses. They lose their originality and depth in the pursuit of mass appeal. That makes sense. Were there any other limitations they mentioned?
One more thing they highlighted was the challenge of scaling DPO to even larger language models. As these models continue to grow in size and complexity, the computational costs of training them with DPO might become prohibitive.
Right. It's like trying to teach a whole stadium full of dogs a new trick simultaneously. It's a logistical nightmare. But despite these limitations, I have to say I'm incredibly excited about the potential of DPO. It feels like a genuine breakthrough in the field of AI alignment.
I agree. It opens up a whole new avenue for shaping AI in a way that's simpler, more efficient, and potentially even more effective than our current methods. It's a paradigm shift in how we approach this critical challenge.
I completely agree. It's like we've been trying to climb Mount Everest with heavy backpacks and clunky gear, and DPO is like discovering a helicopter that can take us most of the way to the summit. It's a game changer. Yeah. But as much as I love geeking out about the technical details of DPO, I think it's important to step back and consider the broader implications of this research. What does it mean for, the future of AI? What are the potential real-world applications?
That's the question, isn't it? If DPO lives up to its promise, it could have a profound impact on how we design, develop, and interact with AI systems.
I'm all ears. What are some of the possibilities that are swirling around in your mind?
Well, imagine a world where customizing an AI to your specific needs and preferences is as easy as, giving it a few examples of what you like and dislike. DPO could make that a reality.
That would be incredible. No more wrestling with complex settings or trying to decipher technical jargon. You just show the AI what you want and it figures out the rest.
Exactly. Think about the implications for personalized education. Imagine AI tutors that can adapt to each student's learning style and pace, providing customized lessons and feedback.
That would be a game changer for education. It could help students who struggle with traditional teaching methods and unlock new levels of learning for everyone.
And it's not just about education. DPO could revolutionize how we create and consume entertainment.
Yeah.
Imagine AI-powered tools that can help you write stories, compose music, or even design video games tailored to your specific tastes.
Oh, wow. It's like having a personal creative assistant who can help you bring your wildest ideas to life.
Precisely. And think about the potential for improving accessibility. DPO can be used to develop AI systems that can personalize interfaces, translate languages, and provide support for people with disabilities in a much more intuitive and effective way.
The possibilities are truly endless. It feels like we're on the cusp of a new era of AI, one where these powerful technologies are no longer confined to research labs and tech companies, but seamlessly integrated into our everyday lives.
I couldn't agree more. And DPO could be a key driver of this transition,
Right.
making AI more accessible, customizable, and ultimately more human-centered.
But as we navigate this exciting new frontier, it's important to remember that DPO is still a relatively young technology. There's a lot more research to be done, and we need to be mindful of the potential ethical implications as we continue to develop and deploy these powerful AI systems.
Absolutely. As with any powerful tool, there's always the potential for misuse. We need to ensure that DPO is used responsibly and ethically
Right.
with careful consideration of its potential impact on society.
I think that's a great point to end on. This deep dive into DPO has been a whirlwind of insights and possibilities. We've covered a lot of ground, from the technical details of how DPO works to its potential applications in various domains. But perhaps the most important takeaway is this. DPO represents a fundamental shift in how we think about AI alignment. It moves us away from those complex reward-driven systems and towards a more elegant and intuitive approach that leverages the AI's own implicit understanding of human preferences. It's a powerful new tool in our quest to create AI that is truly beneficial and aligned with our values.
Well said. And I think it's safe to say that this is just the beginning of the DPO story. As researchers continue to explore and refine this technique, we can expect to see even more exciting breakthroughs and applications in the years to come.
I can't wait to see what the future holds. But for now, dear listener, we encourage you to continue exploring this fascinating topic on your own. We've only scratched the surface here, and there's a wealth of information and resources available online. Dive deeper, ask questions, and let your imagination run wild with the possibilities.
And who knows, maybe one day you'll be the one developing the next groundbreaking AI technology.
Until next time, happy deep diving.